It's not only Monday, but it's the Monday of Thanksgiving week, which means we have a lot more to get done than we usually do. Today, we're going to be talking about buy-sell activity in the first half, BrightDrop hitting $1 billion, and Domino's buying a couple EVs.
Everywhere I go, the people really want to know who I is.
Got billions.
They stop and stay with
Let me ask you a question.
On Monday. Oh, boy.
When was the last time you ordered a Domino's pizza?
Golly, ordered a Domino's. See, we don't have a Domino's near us. I would. It's probably been a few
How is that
years.
even possible that you don't have a Domino's near you?
I mean, it's close. But like we got 3 Papa John's real close, and my kids.
Okay. I'm picking Papa John's honestly. Personally, I'm picking Papa John's. But we have,
and I haven't eaten pizza. I haven't eaten pizza honestly in 2.5 years. So
you poor soul.
It's not
you poor soul. Oh man, I don't know, man. I love me some pizza. Love me some pizza. We got a lot going on this week. Obviously, Wednesday, Thanksgiving is Thursday, and then Black Friday. We'll see what people do, and then the weekend. So we got to squeeze a lot of stuff in the 3 days today. Hey, we released a Saturday episode of this podcast. If you missed it, go back and download it. It's with Dale Pollock. It's a little clip.
So good.
It's like a 6-minute podcast, which if you play at 1.5 speed is like 4.5 minutes, which is enough time to listen to the whole thing when you step into the bathroom and you just try to block everybody else out.
But do yourself a favor, bring a little pen and a pad real quick, because there's just some there's some actual notes that you have to take about your operations. Like you can't just absorb that and be like, I figured it out. Take some notes. It'll be good.
No. Dale came swinging hard. Also, we have a little event coming up in December. I can never remember what we're talking about and what we're not talking about yet.
We're talking about all of it.
Tuesday.
I swear there's going to be a landing page ready to go. You'll be able to register, know where all the stuff is. Maybe by the end of the day today. So if you're listening to this sometime in Monday, it might actually already be up.
Okay. All right, let's get into some news because it's Monday. We got more things to do. We're going to have a shorter episode today. But the dealership buy-sell transaction count reached 178 transactions through the first half of 2022, which is actually a 19% jump from the 150 in 2021. And we thought it was busy then. However, the total number of actual stores that traded hands was down. So more transactions, less stores, meaning smaller deals across the board. Private acquisitions are really what is driving the activity, not publicly traded companies, which was really the case more so last year. Here's a quote from the Automotive News article. Kerrigan, Automotive, is it Nancy? Nancy Kerrigan?
No,
that's her first
she's
name.
Politician.
That's no, she's not. No, she's not. I think she's the figure skater.
Yes, Nancy Kerrigan, figure skater. There you go.
No, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry for making that mistake. But here's the quote. What we're finding is a little bit of a tale of two worlds in that the private sector is making a tremendous amount of money. Aaron, next time I see you, I'm going to apologize in person. The private sector is making a tremendous amount of money and redeploying that capital into dealerships to increase scale, Kerrigan said, because scale seems to be a top priority for most groups as they look to tackle the changes that are coming down the pike, right? The publics already have a little thing called scale, and the private companies understand this is how they're going to win. Alan Haig, president of Haig Partners, said while the public's acquisition activity remains high compared to the period before the coronavirus pandemic, it's still below last year's first half pace, and he expects the public companies to continue purchasing, though, given their pretty ambitious revenue goals.
Yeah,
right? So
I would expect that we're going to see possibly another speed up period because they're going to be able to pull people out kind of prior to recession because they're still cash positive, and dealers are probably looking at there's early on, like 2021, dealers are going high multiples, high revenue run rates. And so, hey, look, we're going to be getting out ahead. There's another kind of wave coming, I think, of the ones that don't want to go through the potential pain of any sort of recession and kind of get out while they're getting still a little bit good. I would expect that it kind of picks up. And we know from the publics that they are all still looking to grow quite significantly to get some of that distribution power. But we haven't seen any acquisitions like in a Larry H. Miller, or anything like that this year where you've seen just suburban collection,
that was
where
huge.
You just have, like mid-sized groups but getting bought by large groups. It just hasn't happened this year. But I still hear, man, I hear every day, like this is actually I saw on LinkedIn, Cheddar Auto, Bert Davidson, our good friend that's been around the Asotoverse. They just got purchased by a larger private firm that is now like one of the fastest growing firms in America. So just I still think there's a lot of acquisition to be had.
Yeah, no doubt. I always wonder, like, Alan Haig says, he thinks, valuations might be plateauing because of earnings, right? It's been higher than usual. And you got to start to feel that instinct going into this, where it's like values are high, the market's starting to change a little bit. Like, who gets left holding the bag? Right. Yep. I guess if you're big enough and you have enough scale, it's more about the long-term play of just getting the pieces in place.
It's all about scale, reducing profitability, expenses due to centralization, having the opportunity to be close to the customer. If I had to guess, I bet I'm not a futurist or anything, but I think December is going to be hot as it comes to acquisitions.
Yeah. I think so. Anyway, it's like the year-end push, right? To get it done before the tax year. I mean, last year was a different reason to push, but I think you're probably right. Speaking of people who are right, which rhymes with bright.
Stop. Segue.
Time. It's the first rhyming segue. GM's last mile delivery vehicle company, BrightDrop, shared that it is poised to reach $1 billion in annual sales in 2023. That's what I'm saying. Finally use that trigger pad, which would make it one of the fastest companies in history to reach that figure in 3 years. So here's what we got. Little company called Google, took them 5 years. Facebook took them 6 years. Tesla, it took Tesla 9 years to hit $1 billion. Isn't that just crazy to think about? Nuts. Like a decade for the people like, where'd they come from? They did 9 years before they even hit $1 billion in sales. Yeah. And it took Apple 14 years to hit $1 billion in sales. So with that little BrightDrop seems like they're doing pretty good.
$600 phones or $70,000 EVs.
I don't know. Well, BrightDrop has over 25,000 reservations or letters of intent from little companies like Walmart, Hertz, FedEx, and Verizon, and it already has vehicles on the road making deliveries. They also, in September, they released their Trace Grocery e-cart, which is super cool. It was adopted by Kroger first, and it's like this box on wheels that can carry 350 pounds of groceries and temperature control the drawers, and then they can bring it right outside and customers can, access Verify to open the drawer. So I think that's pretty cool. I mean, when you're talking last mile, that's like last feet. Super, you know what I mean?
Mile. I love that option because I always feel like the grocery pickup thing is a little bit dicey. You see the food, janky. You're like, was that in the thing? Was that in the fridge?
Oh, yeah.
This has a little fridge compartment. It's great. Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Here's the thing on that, just real quick.
Yeah.
OEMs have consistently dipped their foot in like other verticals. And this EV race is allowing them to kind of understand these other verticals and dip in a little bit further. Because like a few of the manufacturers have said, hey, we're great battery producers now. We're just great at that.
They're leveraging technology.
We're great technology producers. And so leveraging those elements. So this is, hey, why don't car dealers, someone needs to go to the grocery stores and start advertising on those jokers.
Oh, you know it. That's kind of little Zamboni machine. It looks kind of like a little Zamboni machine, but you don't drive it.
Yeah.
But it does make sense. I love the fact that these kind of like little expansions are in the retail sector, right? Whether we're delivering retail packages or in grocery stores, I think that there's just a good energy around retail that will serve dealers well by just being in that space a little bit more. BrightDrop also just announced their subscription-based software platform designed to help customers kind of optimize the way vehicles and EVs are moving around their business to increase efficiency. Here's a quote from Travis Katz. The CEO says, "We're a tech startup with a subscription-based product offering that's backed by a global powerhouse." That puts us in a league of their own.
That it does.
We'll mention at the end too, they say they're tracking 10 billion in sales at a 20% margin by the year.
No.
2030.
Got we gotta get a trigger pad for that.
I know. Yes. I know we do.
We'll get it.
Speaking of GM EVs, GM's day today. Just having a day. They're all in the news. Domino's Pizza said they're investing. Well, the Bolt is a little cheaper than a Model 3 and probably actually caters a little more to putting hot pizzas in the back.
Hot pizza.
They're investing Domino's investing in a new fleet of Chevy Bolts in an effort to add delivery drivers to its ranks, cutting emissions, saving money, and of course, delivering more hot pizzas. They'll be securing 800 EVs to serve the 37 of their company-owned stores and hundreds of their franchise stores. And one of the biggest benefits to this is they said it's going to help us recruit drivers. And at first I was like, I don't know how many people are really excited to drive a Chevy Bolt. Like, I get to drive a Chevy Bolt, right? I'm going to take that job. But then they were like, the problem is a lot of like, they're having a big time problem, them and Pizza Hut and Papa John's recruiting delivery drivers. So they said, no, actually just having a vehicle for them to drive opens up a whole pool of people who can drive, but don't have their own car.
You got to have your own car. You got to maintain it. You got to
beat the crap out of it
in that thing. Right. So now every time you're stopped, you just plug that joker up to the Domino's outlet and you're not worried about it. Yep. And I mean, that's a genius move. I mean, that's like,
I like it.
And not just that, but here's the pop culture narrative, meeting retail, meeting automotive. It's like, what do you get to do for work? Drive an EV and deliver pizzas. I mean,
the new Bolts are cool too, right? Like, especially for someone who might not have a car, or maybe they didn't have a nice car, but now they get to sit in this thing that feels a little bit like a spaceship when you get in it. I didn't realize this, but Domino's is the only, like, between them and Pizza Hut and Papa John's, they haven't like gone third party. So there's no like Grubhub or DoorDash. Yeah. And, you know, they need to, I was thinking about that. Pizza would be one of the suckiest things, I think, to get delivered from a third party, because it gets cold so fast. And, you know, when you get it from like the pizza place, they got it in that little bag and it stays kind of still warm when it gets to you. Yep. So we'll see how this goes. I think
they're gonna outfit the back of these things, the fancy, like, you gotta put this together.
Little pizza oven.
Domino's, I'm telling you what, since 2010, they have not been messing around, and this is just
ever since they wrote that letter of apology, right?
Yes,
remember, that's classic. Domino's wrote this letter of apology saying, what was it, the CEO just reading bad reviews on like a Super Bowl commercial? Like, your sauce sucks.
Yeah. We're coming at you. And then they just changed the game. The advertising changed. They're constantly pressing the boundaries. They, you know, the pizza tracker was the first thing they did. They start, handing your stuff to your car out in your car, right? So you don't even have to get out of your car. And now they're delivering pizzas and EVs. Crazy.
What's next? Drone pizza delivery seems a little more complicated. I mean, just think that's like carrying a big flat box in the windy. Just imagine that thing blowing around. Box,
windy, 20 degrees out. Definitely not how I want my pizza. We'll call that.
No. But we have 3 full days before we have some turkey to get in there, get something done. So go ahead. You know you have some hard work to do.